Hello friends, this is part 2 in a tutorial about Chromia in Rell. Our goal is to turn this game, Goblin Chess, into an online game, running on Chromia. In this episode, I will look deeper into Rell's data types and entities. In the previous video, we let Cursor generate some Rell code for us, so we have some code to start with. One difference between a normal app and a DApp is that in Cryptoland we always sign the data we send to the blockchain. Rell has a type called Pubkey, and when we look in the documentation we find that Pubkey is just an alias for byte array. What's the point? Yeah, when we use Pubkey instead of byte array we send a signal that this is the key that will be stored in the player's wallet, used to sign transactions and identify the player. Cursor didn't understand that our player entity should have a pubkey, so we have to add it ourselves. But now the player entity has two primary keys. That doesn't look right. Actually, I lied in the previous episode. Key doesn't mean primary key exactly. It corresponds to the unique SQL keyword. Rell handles primary key under the hood. Every entity has an invisible integer column called row ID, which is the real primary key. And this is used to join tables and so on. I just saw something that's missing. I want the player to have an ELO rating, just like regular chess. Let's make Cursor generate some code for that. I create a new file, type Ctrl-L and open the chat. The ELO calculation is well known. So we should be able to generate the correct code if I just link to the Wikipedia page. Let's add the ELO rating to the entity player, and let's add some more statistics about losses and draws. Perhaps it's nice to have an extra entity that remembers how each player's ELO changed over time. The player and game columns are just foreign keys, but I also want to signal that the combination of player and game should be unique. And I do this via the composite key. All of this is well documented under the core concepts page at the website. Let's look at the game entity. Here Cursor tried to add some sort of primary key ID, but with Rell we don't really need that, it's automatic. I'm putting index on the foreign keys, but that's perhaps overkill. Index just means that we have an index on the column. Cursor put a winner foreign key in the game entity, but we only know the winner when the game is done. And Rell does not allow columns to be null. The founders of Chromia don't think that null should be a part of relational algebra. And I agree. I've seen too many SQL bugs originating from developers forgetting that a foreign key can be null. Read more about it in this book. We have the current turn number, which is good. But I want the reference to the entity turn, so that I can find the current turn later if I need it. Once again, I put this foreign key in a new table to avoid the null reference I will get when the game is created but the first turn has not begun. Oh yeah, I forgot to draw the turn on the ER diagram. Turn is just an action where the player can either move or play a card. In the game we don't have to play a card during the play card turn. Also, we might not be able to move during the move turn. We have 6 turn types. We might not have an action for every turn type, but the order matters. Playing a card comes before the movement of a piece, for example. Let's just ignore the neutral moves, that's for version 2. Once again, Cursor got the composite key wrong. Only the combination of game and number should be unique. Cursor didn't create a separate entity for move, but we need it since the NOT NULL rule prevents us from putting everything in one big table. Only the columns really needed for move will be in here. Why did Cursor think we could have question marks here? Rell syntax is mostly Kotlin, and in Kotlin the default is always NOT NULL. Only if you put a question mark after the type, the field can be null. But as you know, that's not allowed inside entities. Now we have enough entities to proceed to the next episode, where we will compile the code.